Hey guys, how's it going? The young super here. Wanted to do a little video for y'all on what it's like to be a young superintendent doing the night shift. So on this project that I'm doing in San Francisco right now is requiring us to move our work from the days to the night shift. And so my night shift goes from 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. But when you're working with union, when you're doing the night shift, they do 7 hours. So it's actually 6 p.m. to 1 a.m. But that I'm usually back home in bed around 1:30, 2 a.m. And basically, I mean, it's literally the same when you go about doing your work. Just one thing that you really have to focus on is cleanliness. Because, I mean, you're working in an occupied area and you need to make sure that everything is, spick and span before the next day. Because people are going to come in, they're going to see dust, and, you want to make sure that you take care of that. And then I guess a little lessons learned. So we were doing demo one of these nights, and we cleaned up, we vacuumed, we cleaned everything. But this was at the end of the work that we were doing. But the one thing that you need to watch out for is dust settles. And so the next day there was some dust on tables, and we're like, well, we had just cleaned this, but we didn't wait for the dust to settle. So as a lessons learned, it's probably a good idea to make sure that you do some of those dustier items, especially if you are doing it at night at the very beginning, so you at least give the dust some time to settle. Also, another thing that you could use is a smog hog to help kind of bring in the dust that you create in your spaces. So one of the joys that come with having to work on nights is you don't have to worry about noise complaints. So, you can make all the noise you want, but being that there isn't a full staff for the night from the building engineer, there's certain work that we can't do at night. So for example, we can't do any fire alarm work. I'm pretty sure we're not gonna be able to do any fire sprinkler work. So that's stuff that we have to get coordinated with the building engineer. So you just kind of have to look through those things to make sure, and also get on the same page with your building engineer as to what you can and can't do during the nights, and see how you can coordinate that. And if it's, long, extensive stuff, you could potentially put in a work order to have someone come out to, oversee that from the building side. So, for example, on my job, I had to do some fire alarm strobe relocation, and they requested that be done during the day when they're on site. So the current project that we're working on here in the city, we're building some executive suites for the company that we're doing this project for. And one of the suites that I'm currently in right now, they didn't like these lights. And so they wanted to go to a whole different location. And so now this is going to be an executive conference room. And so we had to reopen this wall, put in some new rough-in for per their, building standard conference room, so that they can have their TV. We're gonna put backing in, and then we tied into a floor monument. Actually not luckily. So in these rooms that I was in, it used to be split in half. So I think if you, look at this mullion right here. So on this side was a room, and then on that side was a room. And then we demoed this demising wall, and now it's one big room. And in each room, it had a floor monument. So you see that one right there. And then I have one, an opening hole covered with this cone. So it's all about coordination and communication with your owner, because per conversations that we had with the owner, they said that they wanted that hole filled. Well, it turned out that actually they didn't want that anymore, and they wanted this hole filled, which, we didn't. And so we had to chip out the one that we filled, and then, what wasn't a big deal. We just used grout, and so we were able to chip it out pretty easily, and then we put the new floor monument in, and now it's all whipped up and ready to get AV pulled and data, and we're good. So this is this room. This is gonna be a conference room. We're gonna have fabric wrap panels go across this. It's gonna be an inch thick. we'll go down to one of the other like actual executive offices so you can kind of see what we've done. Sound transmission is a big thing for the executives here. So we're doing double layer drywall with the green glue in between the drywall layers. Being, again, another coordination thing. So halfway through our project, the building owner wanted to have a sound consultation team come out to do basically a consult on what we should do to soundproof these rooms. But we had already gone through the design process, and we had already, we had closed up all the walls, and then they came up with all these recommendations. I was like, well, the only recommendation that we could adhere to was to add another layer of drywall. And we're still getting a few complaints about sound transmission. But what sucks is it's an existing condition that we didn't touch. So if you look up here, we have a Meco shade cavity, and that basically passes through this wall right here, and that goes through the whole perimeter of the whole building. And there's daylight, there's air that goes through there, and so sound goes through there. And so now they're wanting us to come up with a solution, which I've come up with them. But the thing with this project, they want everything to happen the next day. They want it done, but there's a process of things. So what I recommended to the owner was to pull down the Meco shades, let us fill in the cavity, and then we have our blind sub come out to field measure the new opening, install new Meco shades. But the thing with the new Meco shades is that's like a 5 to 6 week lead item, and they didn't like that fact that it was 5 to 6 weeks to get new shades in. So that's kind of what you're dealing with. So just things to think about. Honestly, that doesn't really have to deal with being on the night shift, but just kind of deals with, coordination issues. So let's go down to one of the other offices, just so I can show you all on the other side of what we did. So you see that there's huddle rooms right here. So there used to be an opening right here. We took that opening out, demoed it out, and then we infilled it so that we could just close this off to the break room and then just have one big office where we were just at. And so what we did here to help with having a buffer for sound transmission, we have single layer drywall, framing, insulation, about 1.5 foot void. Then we have drywall, framing, insulation, and then the 2 layers of drywall that I talked about. And then on top of that, we also have 1 inch of that fabric wrap panel. So it's like the sound transmission is definitely not coming through this wall, but kind of like how I mentioned, coming through that cavity that's up there. So things to think about, obviously existing conditions that can bite you in the butt in the end, but you're always trying to come up with new ways to help meet the expectations of the owner. All right, so we're on the 4th floor right now. You can kind of see like this is like one of our active construction areas. So we have the zip wall, and we basically have it, that whole entrance covered with plastic so as to, prevent dust from coming out. We had one of our janitorial cleaning subs that does that. So we just have, the extension poles and then plastic and then zip wall. We have these sticky walk-off mats. They used to help prevent from stuff tracking through. This is the new office that they want to do. So yeah, that job's currently ongoing. So basically it used to be a game room and game room and a huddle room. And so now we've demised it 2 ways to where it's one office and then it's going to be a huddle room. And that's where her new office is going to be. So I was just putting in the code to be able to go up the elevator. Got to bring this light upstairs, so we're. Hey, how's it going?
All right.
Start going upstairs. Gonna drop off this light. So they're gonna reuse these lights. So basically, the orientation of the ceiling panels that were up there is that what do they call it? That wheat thin ceiling panel. We took those down at the beginning of the project, and those are going to be relocated in a different orientation to meet the new layout of the room. And so we're doing that with these lights, and then also with the diffusers. So that's currently what we're doing. So today we're basically just doing some electrical rough-in, safing off lights, and just running new conduit MCs so that we can put up, so we can close up walls tomorrow. So I'm having inspections tomorrow morning, being that I'm doing the night shift. So you kind of have to coordinate, when, coverage for daytime stuff. So for example, doing inspections or maybe doing, any job walks with the owner. You got to get that coordinated with your project manager. So my project manager, she's going to be taking care of that tomorrow. So we're having our rough framing inspection, and then we're also having our electrical end wall so we can close up Wednesday night. So that's kind of one of the cool things about doing night shifts, that you can have inspections one day and then complete that work that same day. Whereas like you wouldn't be able to have your trade or your framer, or I guess your sheetrocker, come the same day that your inspection is, because you might not really know when that is, and then they're just kind of sitting around until they're able to close up. So I guess that's a perk for being able to do night shift. So let me know what y'all think. Let me know if you have any questions on what other content y'all would like to see. I know it's been a minute since I've been able to be posting videos, but I've been super busy, especially with this project. It's been stressful. Like, we've already gotten 4 spaces completed already with this company, and now there's this one where she didn't like the location, so we're changing all that up. So let me know what y'all think, and what else y'all would like to see. All right, y'all have a good one.